Hello everyone, welcome to AFC Game by Game. This is my review of yesterday's 0-0 draw at home to Middlesbrough. A very uninspiring performance. Let's be honest, it was a terrible result against a Middlesbrough outfit that we really should have been wiping the floor with. If you were going to pick any game at the start of the season and I had to put everything that I owned on Arsenal getting 3 points, it would be at home to Middlesbrough. This was a game that I would have, put my life on us winning. So it's a real disappointment that we haven't come out of the game with 3 points to our name. But it's very, very, very important that we don't overreact to this result because it's not the end of the world by any means. We've going into this game, we'd won 6 on the trot. We'd had a fantastic performance in midweek against Ludogorets. And you looked at our next two games, Sunderland and Middlesbrough, and you would have thought we'd have been getting 6 points out of 6. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that. But we've got an opportunity next week in which to rectify it with a win away from home at Sunderland. And if we beat Spurs in the North London derby and then go on to get a good result against Man United, then I won't even remember this result. It will be irrelevant in the context of things. But if you isolate this game, then yeah, like I say, we really should have been beating Borough at home because they've lost 4 of their last 6 games. They've not picked up many points this season. They've only got one win. And you know what? They'll feel hard done by that. They didn't nick this game because they did have the chances to do. And Negredo had a few chances. Stuani had a chance. I can't really think of one time where we actually tested Valdez in this game. The only opportunity that I can recall was Alexis Sanchez's free kick in the first half. Apart from that, I can't really recall any moment where we were a trouble. Where we were a problem for this Middlesbrough back line. It was an infuriating game in a way, just so boring, so stale, and as good as we are going forward at times, we are kind of worryingly predictable to play against as well at times, especially when we look tired, which we certainly did today. I think this was a game that called for a fresh approach. As I said in the preview, I'd have kept Chamberlain in the team. Maybe this would have been a good game to start Lucas Perez because Alexis looked a bit tired. Ozil was very off the ball. He looked incredibly knackered. I can't really think of any Arsenal player that had a good game. There was Koscielny, Petr Cech. Apart from that, I can't really look at anyone that put in a really good shift. We saw Onene come in for Santi Cazorla, who's not got a return date, which is very, very worrying. We lost him about this stage last season, and our campaign really did spiral down from there. So I hope he's not out for too long. Wenger did say it was just a kick before the game, so for him to not have a return date now is very concerning. Onene, don't get me wrong, he's a very good player, but he's not Santi Cazorla. Cazorla is different class. He is a superb player to have in the side. And if you look at the runs that the likes of Theo Walcott was making throughout the course of this game, then Cazorla would have picked those out. An in-form Ozil would have picked those out. So it's frustrating that there was no chemistry really within the side. I thought Iwobi had a pretty poor game. No one, as I say, no one had a particularly good game, so I'm not going to isolate players in any way. But fair play to Onene, came in, did a job. He's still a very useful player to have, and I think he'll start that game on Tuesday night against Reading, which is, I think it's very important just for the belief of the team that we get a good win against Reading as well. I know it's only the EFL Cup, and yeah, I do want to see the likes of Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Jeff Rain, Adelaide get an opportunity in this game, but it's also important we win this game about 2-3-0, just to restore belief, not so people go into a minor state of panic, because this is really not an opportunity to panic. Teams around the league, the likes of Manchester City, Tottenham, United, Chelsea, are all going to have results like this. We're not going to. This winning run is not going to continue to happen for ages. It's just a shame that we drew at home to Middlesbrough in a game which we really should have won, as I say, instead of drawing away from home at United or something, which would have been a fairly decent result. But I mean, as I say, if we beat Tottenham in the derby and then if we go on to beat United, then no one will look back at this result with too much of a negative impact on our season, hopefully, considering we win the games we're meant to in the future. But I just think it's a case of the team being really tired. As I say, Spurs drew to Bournemouth, a game they should have won. They drew at West Brom last week, so everyone's going to have results like this. It's a very difficult Premier League to play, and there are no easy results. And in a way, I'm definitely not glad that we drew this game, but heading into that North London derby, if we'd have gone into that game with 8 wins on the trot, yes, in a way that would have been immaculate, but at the same time, it kind of sets the tone for what could have been our first loss of this. Our first loss of, in a good long while. It would have been a very built-up game, and the media would continue to talk about Arsenal in this way. And I'm kind of happy for us to drift under the limelight for a little bit. I still think we're playing fantastic football, although we didn't put in a very good shift yesterday. But I do think it's a once in a blue moon kind of game. Arsene Wenger definitely won't be happy with that result. And let's not forget. We would have won this game, I think, had Olivier Giroud been available. I'm not saying I would have started him yesterday, but with 60 minutes to go, if a team like Borough, like Burnley as well, lines up in a specific way to to stop you, to nullify your threat up top, and then you bring in something totally different in the name of Olivier Giroud, who's going to hustle that defence. He's going to make himself a nuisance. He's just he's an absolute beast of a player. Well, can't believe I just said that. He's an absolute tank of a man going up front. But I mean, to have an option like him off the bench, Lucas Perez came on, and yeah, I mean, he's quick, he's agile, he's a fairly good player, but he's kind of already similar to what we've already got on the pitch, so he didn't have much of an impact. Whereas Giroud, totally different kind of player, a bit like how Negredo was so influential for Man City when they won the league a couple of seasons ago. So for me, Giroud's a massively important player for us, and considering he's going to be back in their team for hopefully Tuesday night, I mean that's hopefully a sign of positive things to come, because he can seriously be a big name off the bench for us. But there's not really a lot I can say on this game. It was a very poor result in a game which we should have won. But Reading on Tuesday night, looking forward to that game. Looking forward to seeing a bit of Jeff, a little bit of Ainsley as well. Love a bit of Maitland-Niles. And then we've got Sunderland away, a game in which we should be picking up 3 points and all should be rosy again. After that, the North London derby, we've got a game against Ludogorets as well coming up. So, very winnable fixtures, and I am absolutely buzzing for that North London derby in a couple of weeks' time, because Spurs, dare I say, don't look particularly good without Harry Kane up top. And even if he is back for the North London derby, he's not going to be particularly match fit, but that should be a fantastic game in a few weeks' time. But anyway, those would be my thoughts on Arsenal's 0-0 draw at home to Middlesbrough. Yes, it's a poor result, but I can't stress enough, do not panic, because there's honestly nothing to worry about at this stage in the season. Anyway, guys, please do drop a like on the video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to AFC Game by Game, and as always, I'll be speaking to you very, very soon.